Princess Illyra laughed when the human at the navigation table had unfolded paper. Actual paper, yellowed squares covered in ink lines. Coffee stains, rocks, and arrows. Commander Rowan Hale did not look offended. He only placed brass weights on the corners and kept marking the route through the morning belt, while the royal astrogator projected a perfect blue hologram. Illyra asked if Earth's ships also use candles when their reactors became confused. Rowan tapped the map and said, "Only when the darkness gets arrogant." That was before the stars went silent. The jammer wave hit like a curtain dropped across the universe. The hologram broke into static. The palace cruiser lost beacon lock. The escort drones spun blind. And every smart console began politely giving wrong answers. Illyra stopped laughing when the helmsman reported that their own engines could not agree where the ship was. The morning belt shifted from scenic danger to moving graveyard. Black rocks tumbling through dust, old mines waking under false signals. Rowan moved the paper away from a sparking panel and asked for a pencil. The Empire had lost the sky. The humans still had a road. Emergency protocol required the network. The network required clean signal, and clean signal had become a myth. Rebel raiders were watching them drift toward old mine lanes, waiting for panic to turn royal metal into funeral light. Illyra looked at Rowan's paper and saw not childish scratches but notes made by someone who had expected betrayal from physics itself. Drift shadows, magnetic tides, engine windows, smuggler's marks, and little angry comments in Terran shorthand. He had mapped not the official route, but the route reality would allow after everything beautiful failed. Then the minds began to wake. The first one blinked red beneath the cruiser's bow. A patient little star full of murder. The helmsman froze. The astrogator shouted 3 wrong coordinates, and Illyra felt the crown weight in her hair become useless decoration. Rowan did not raise his voice. 2 degrees down, half burn, cut thrust on my mark. Wait for the second rock shadow, not the first. The helmsman obeyed because no one else sounded certain. The cruiser slid under a tumbling asteroid as the mine detonated against stone. The shockwave rolled over their shields. Lights died. Nobles screamed below. Rowan made another mark. A paper map had just beaten a royal computer. Pride is slow to die, especially in princesses raised by victorious statues. Rowan handed her the pencil and said, "Mark every blast you see, every shadow that moves wrong, every place the enemy thinks we will trust the official lane." Her first line shook. Her second was cleaner. By the 5th detonation, she understood the map was not a relic. It was a living argument with chaos. Officers abandoned frozen displays and crowded the table. 1 reading distance, 1 timing rotations by heartbeat, 1 listening to hull impacts like rain on a roof. The human had not replaced their systems. He had reminded them they had eyes, and outside. The rebels realized the prey was learning. Raider ships emerged from the dust with jammers burning bright, lean knives with stolen royal codes on their hulls. They expected the cruiser to run the beacon path. They expected panic. They expected the princess to demand speed and dignity. Rowan expected arrogance, and his paper showed where arrogant hunters preferred to hide. He pointed to a blank patch between 2 rocks and told Illyra to order a blind broadside. She hesitated because royal doctrine did not fire at empty space. Then the jammer pulsed again, and the cruiser lurched toward another mine string. Illyra looked at the human who had trusted dead surveyors more than living machines. "Fire there," she commanded. The empty space screamed. 3 raider ships appeared as their stealth skins shattered under plasma. 1 broke apart. 1 spun, burning into the belt. 1 tried to flee through a route Rowan had circled in red with the note. Cowards like this gap. Illyra almost smiled, then remembered she had laughed at the map. The survivors flooded the region with ghost signals, false distress calls, and stolen royal keys. The officers turned again toward their broken consoles. But Illyra snapped, "Eyes first, machines second." And Rowan's pencil paused, because she had said it like she meant to keep saying it after survival. The crown had begun to listen to paper. Rowan taught Illyra the ugly grammar of real navigation. How dust glowed before mines. How old wrecks pointed with scars. how silence itself had shapes. He told her Earth had learned maps could not be loyal to power, only to truth. Because storms did not respect rank, and oceans drowned kings as quickly as fishermen. Elira marked, erased, marked again, no longer caring that ink stained her gloves. The cruiser lost engines and shield ribs. But it gained a crew. Then the final trap opened. At the belt's edge, the rebels had placed a false rescue beacon beside a clear corridor. A perfect path home. Polished. Obvious. Fatal. Rowan showed Elira the older map folded inside the first. It showed that the corridor had not existed 20 years ago, because a moonlit there had broken into invisible gravel. Too small for sensors under jamming, large enough to shred a cruiser at speed. The real exit was a narrow wound between two rotating wrecks. Ugly and slow and almost impossible, Elira looked at the false beacon. Then at the dark slit Rowan offered, and understood leadership was choosing the truth that made you look afraid. So the princess ordered the ugly road. The cruiser crawled through with hull plates shrieking. Raiders firing from behind, mines blooming like red flowers. Elira gave every burn herself, voice steady because his was steady. When clean stars returned, rescue signals poured in. Frantic and uselessly late, Elira folded the map and placed it beside the command seal. Rowan said she could keep the copy. She said, "No, Commander. I will carry the original to court." The court laughed when she entered with ink on her gloves. Elira let them laugh until the battle recording played. Until they watched holograms die, rebels strike, and one human map turn a royal coffin back into a ship. Then she unfolded the paper across the throne steps and said, "This is what remains when arrogance loses signal." Rowan stood at the back, quiet as always, but when the new Navigation Academy opened, its first lesson was written in ink above the door. If the sky goes silent, ask what the ground remembers.